Okay, you guys, so this is our next activity. We are going to be comparing numbers, whether they're a positive with a negative or a negative with a negative. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to have you do, instead of have this be where you fill out the answers here in the blanks and stuff, I am going to have you first cut this. So you're going to cut it between numbers 10 and 11. So you're just going to cut right here down the middle. And then you're just going to make columns out of it. Okay, and you can cut it just straight all the way up. You can cut this off, whatever helps you. And then we're going to cut this one also. I'm trying to make them the same size. And I'm just going to cut this piece off. Okay, so this is what I'm going to glue into my journal. Okay, so this is the second activity that we are doing. I am taking these onto my C2 page, Concepts 2. Okay, so I'm at Concepts 2. And I'm actually going to take a pen, pencil, whatever it might be. And right here I'm just going to put comparing negative numbers. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to take that same title, go to my table of contents. Okay, today, the day that I'm making it is the 9th, but I will put the 10th, and I'm going to put comparing negative numbers, and that is on page C2. Okay, so back to page C2. Here I am. Okay, and you guys have much better glue. I'm just using stick glue. And real quick, I'm just going to put these side by side right next to each other into my journal. Okay. You will notice that in your baskets today, I have included some number lines for you to be able to look at instead of having to draw one yourself. Okay, this will remind you of kind of how comparing a negative number to a negative number works. Okay, so this activity is to compare these numbers together and decide which one is greater, which one's less, are they equal, what's, what is the difference in these numbers, okay? So, in each one of your baskets, I have included a number line like this. Okay, it's got negatives and positives. One of the biggest things about a number line is that you remember the farther left you go, the less it is. So once I'm in the negative values, the bigger the number, or the farther left that I go, so the bigger the negative, the less value it has. When I'm on the right side of the zero, the bigger the number, the greater value it has, okay? So left is less and right is greater, okay? So these are going to help you just kind of think about where each of these numbers might fall on the number line, okay? So let's do an example. If I'm looking at number 6, so here these are both negative numbers. If I'm looking for which one is greater, am I going to be looking for the one farther left or the one farther right? Okay, and the answer should be the one farthest to the right to be the greater one. So I'm just going to make a little note up here. Left is less and right is great or greater. Okay? So which one of these, okay, looking at this number line down here at the bottom, here is 0, and then to the left I start climbing. So which one of these am I going to hit first going in the negative direction? So that answer should be negative 73. Negative 73 is closer to 0 than negative 100. So the bigger the negative number, the less the value. So that means that negative 73 has a greater value than negative 100. So negative 73 is greater than negative 100. Negative 100 is much farther to the left than negative 73. So since they're both negative and negative 73 is closer to 0, okay, negative 73 is greater. Okay, so now let's talk about a positive and a negative. So number 15, negative 36 and positive 27. Which one of those is greater? Okay, good. Negative 36 is smaller and 27 is the number that is greater. So my alligator mouth should open towards 27 because it wants to eat the greater amount. 27 is greater than negative 36. So the way I read this, negative 73 is greater than negative 100. The way I read this one, negative 36 is less than 27. Okay? So, the further left I am, the less value I have. The further right I am, the greater value I have. When I am looking at two negatives, and I'm going to put this down here too, when you have two negatives, the one closer to 0, excuse me, the one closer to 0 is greater. Okay, and you can make that note in yours as well. So all you're going to do is compare all of these numbers. Okay, and what this is going to do by comparing one number to another, it's going to allow us to eventually order a set of numbers. Okay, so that's where we're going to head with this. Okay, so remember, left is less, R is greater, and when you have two negatives, the one closer to 0 is the greater number. Okay, so complete this activity, and you can use the number line that I have provided for you. And then you will be done for this station.